Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on Lake Taneycomo. It is Monday, the 16th of November, I believe. I've done this enough days in a row, I should remember by now what today is. Yeah, 16th of November. Let's see. I think they're running a little more water today. I'm gonna check my app here. Yeah, so today they're running at the moment 4,127 cubic feet per second, which is roughly a unit and a half of water. And I'm gonna try something I haven't done once again in a while. Today I'm gonna start off drifting a jerkbait, and this one is the 606 model in the plum stupid color on the signature series. Now we do carry many other 606 models up in the shop that are a little cheaper, and we also have a few other signature series colors as well, so you got plenty of options to choose from. I've never actually drifted the plum stupid on the bottom before, so we're gonna find out today if it's, first off, if they're biting jerk baits dragging across the bottom, and second off, if the plum stupid's a good color for that. So I've got that on 4-pound test. There's about 2.5 foot a leader. I've got that tied directly onto the ring there, and then I've got a size 12 barrel swivel, size 12 snap swivel with an 1/8 ounce weight hanging from the snap swivel. When you're drifting jerk baits, you really don't have to worry about adding any more weight. An 1/8 ounce is generally plenty of weight to get her to the bottom, and if you put too much more weight on there than that, then you start running into getting hung up. I remove that belly hook on the bottom of the bait, keep it from hanging up on the bottom as much. I generally like a faster flow like we have now, or even faster for doing this. And I was talking to Phil. He said about a week ago Bill Babbler was dragging the 606 model, and I think the one he was dragging was the striper color, which we sell up in the shop over there on the jerk bait rack, and said that they did really well when the water was running a little faster. It's actually off work today, and just came in to do a little fishing. I drifted from the cable up here down to Trophy Run using a red San Juan worm under an indicator, and did pretty well. Caught one that was about 20 inches, landed 4 other ones, and had a few other on. And then after Trophy Run, I didn't catch another fish until after the Narrows. So it seemed like the San Juan worm bite was quite a bit better from the dam down to the Trophy Run sign. And I talked to a father and a son fishing just 2 days ago, and they said that they'd been doing real well dragging our signature series jerk baits on the bottom from Trophy Run down to Lookout Point Island. And so I've heard a few different reports about it now today, and that was enough to make me want to try it. Other than that, I don't have any other fishing reports. Just like dragging anything else, when you're dragging these jerk baits across the bottom, you kind of want to get a feel for what their normal wiggle feels like. Anytime you feel something different, set the hook or bring it in to make sure you don't have moss on it. And once you get a feel for what it's supposed to feel like, you'll know when you'll know when a fish is biting or whenever you've picked up moss on the bill, because it only takes a little bit of moss on the bill of the bait to kind of curtail the action. I'm kind of curious as to the reason for the faster water. I don't know if maybe our oxygen levels are getting better, so they're starting to run a little more water, or if they just needed to run a little more water. I know that once they do get the oxygen levels up and they start running more water, this method that I'm using here was really good last year in the faster water, and I suspect that soon the drag and the jerk baits will be a pretty successful method again. And my action stopped, so I have to believe that I probably have moss. And sure enough, I have a lot of moss. Wasn't quite sure how effective this method was going to be today. I wanted to try it. But I know that there's still, when you're dragging something across the bottom that hard, when that bill's digging in, I knew that there was a chance that I'd probably pick up a decent amount of moss. But you can do this method with, oh hey, that was a fish. Darn it. You can do this method with pretty much any little shallow diving jerk bait, stick bait, whatever you want to call it. Ideally, you do want it to be a floating style, because you want that leader to kind of give it some room and for it to hang back there and hopefully just kind of wiggle right above the bottom. And so if you use the suspending or the sinking jerk baits, they usually just get hung up quite a bit. Now there's still going to be times where the current pulls this one, the bill, down to the bottom, but with just the one hook on there, it does float. And so you can do that with any of the little floating jerk bait, stick baits, and we have a pretty big selection of them now. pulling it back in. This is, once again, when you're dragging stuff across the bottom, you definitely want to bring it in and check for moss. Those fish do not like salad with their main course. And just like with the San Juan worm bite working better up here and not down there today, it could be that this method would work better down there and not up here. Sometimes the fish are just picky like that, kind of based on what kind of food sources they're looking at in the area that you're fishing in. I know for the signature series wise, one of the best colors for dragging is either the French Pearl or the Ghost Shad. I'd say I probably have a high percentage of my luck on either the Ghost Shad or the French Pearl. I had never tried this one before, so I wanted to give it a try. And with this method, I don't really let out any extra line. That jerkbait and that weight are eventually going to work their way to the bottom, and I really don't want it to hit the bottom any faster than it has to with drag and jerk baits. So I just cast it out and close my bail immediately and just let it kind of dig itself down to the bottom. I'm going to attempt to work my way right down the center of the rocking chair here. And I'd say there's a fair amount more moss here in the big hole than there was up above there. Boy, I might have to switch up methods here. This is getting real mossy real quick. I did rig up one other bait here. I've got the 762 model, which is a little bit smaller than the 606. Doesn't dive quite as deep. This is the one they call the Green Machine. Signature Series. And just like with the other one, I have taken the belly hook off, and I'll just see if this has any better luck not digging the moss so much. This is dragging jerkbaits is one of those methods that sometimes produces a lot of fish, but a lot of the time you may not catch as many fish, but it's a way that you can target trophy fish while not having to do a whole lot of work, and it will target bigger fish. I think I'm still having the same problem. Bunch of moss. Even if it gets right up here around the where your knot is tied, it will really hurt the action of the bait. Try this one more cast, and if I can't keep it out of the moss, I'll switch over to something else. Definitely not having too good of luck with that. So anyway, something else I would try if I had 2 hours for a video would be to go down below, kind of either to trophy run down to the Narrows or something, and just see if there's less moss down there. I'm not sure. Bill gave that report where he was drifting at, but I'd say he may have been. Maybe we're just working them from lookout point down. So I'm going to switch over to this red sand wandworm and see if they're still biting it. I've got one single red sand wandworm on there. It's one of the bigger ones. I've got a BB size split shot, and I've got that set at about 10.5 foot or so. I'm going to move back over here to the south side. Got a pretty fair wind blowing me downstream right now. That wind has really stuck around since we had that storm cell the other day. So with this much wind blowing me downstream, I'm really going to have to continuously stay on top of the trolling motor, pushing myself back upstream a little bit, keep my drift even. Ooh, there was a hit. Hey, there's a fish. Well, they are still liking this red sand wandworm up here. However, I've got all my rods sitting inside the net. I'm not sure what makes them, because I know the other day I talked to some people that said the red San Juan wasn't working well up here, but it was down there, and today it's exactly the opposite. So I'd like to know if there's some type of worm that either hatches underneath the water or comes out of the banks in certain areas that the fish key in on. This feels like a nicer fish. Oh, really? I was trying so hard not to let him land on the boat. Well, we at least got to see what one looks like today. Oh, he had that for a second. Well, once again, the San Juan worm prevails. Got him. Ooh, that's a fat one. He bent the crud out of my hook. This time I'll hold him in front of the net, but that one's got a belly on him. So with this little bit faster water, I have to keep in mind that if I want to fish down below, that I would need to increase my depth, and I'm actually kind of at the max right now. And that may have been my problem earlier when I drifted below. I just didn't realize they were running more water at that point, and I may not have been getting it close enough to the bottom. So I have, you know, times where they're running 2 and 3 units, had to set, you know, about 13 foot deep to get that fly close enough to the bottom to catch fish, which makes landing them a little bit hard if you don't have someone to net for you. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do if you want to catch the fish, and I did not realize they were running more water earlier, so it may have just been a I wasn't deep enough thing. But anyway, I think I'm going to call the video there today, guys. So we thank you for watching. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll do it for you again tomorrow. Alright guys, Blake here again. So as soon as the video got over, I was right at the top of Trophy Run, and I decided that I would try dragging the jerkbait through Trophy Run, since that was one of the reports I had gotten 2 days ago. And this is my third fish that I have caught on that 606 since I started a drift down from Trophy Run. So kind of funny how different sections they want a different bait. But there's a really pretty trout, and like I said, that's the third one in just a few minutes, really. And so as soon as I got past that Trophy Run sign, they really wanted the jerkbait. So I'm gonna turn it on just for a second longer and take another cast and see if I can hook a fourth one here. So I'm not sure if just there's a number of bait fish that are, you know, coming through that channel right there and they're sitting there waiting for them. I'm really not sure, but I do know that the water moves really fast through there. It actually moves so fast that the bottom, from about the Trophy Run sign down to somewhere in here, is actually straight down to the bedrock. There's really no pea gravel or anything. And so I don't know if just the lack of moss allowed the bait to work long enough to get a fish's attention, or if they're just seeing more bait fish coming down through this channel. Of course, now that I turn the camera on, it's not going to be as good, but that little section about as long as the the rock bank. Oh, there's another one. Missed him. That rock section, you know, from the beginning of the sign down to the bottom of it, the dragging a little jerkbait was definitely good through there. So anyway, just wanted to turn the camera on since I still had everything running. Thanks for watching, guys.